Yeah, buddy. I have that feeling of deja vu all over again. Who said that? That was the late great Yogi Berra, right? He had a bunch of them. All right, it's Monday. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I just got done doing I just got done doing my fourth coat of mud, and I'm learning. You know, I like to learn as I'm going. I like to learn before I go, but a lot of times you learn during the journey, right? That's probably the best time to learn. I don't know. That's when it sticks to you, right? When you learn during the journey. That's my philosophy. So I'm learning that I don't do this for a living. And I was watching, there's a guy in Canada. His name is Ben. He's real good. I forget what his YouTube channel is called. Something Carpenter, the Finnish Carpenter. I don't know. He's got some talent. You know, I tell you that. So I was watching his videos, and I was inspired to make a bunch of mud. Not in this bucket, but it's outside now. But I made a bunch of mud because I was using my big taping knife, which is also outside. I think it was my 10-inch. And I learned that, well, you have to kind of move kind of quick. You know, when you make so much, that even though I made it loose, like kind of like a wet, pancake batter, you still got to move, because I'm using 45-minute setup. I'm using that stuff. And by the end, I had to toss, I don't know, maybe not a third, maybe a quarter of it, because it became too hard to work with. So in the meantime, here's what I got done. And you could probably see, well, maybe you can't see, because I know on the camera, on my videos, everything looks nice on the video. But in reality, well, it's got some rough spots, and that was by, just by doing, because when you go over it, it looks good or almost good, and then you go over it again, it looks better, and then you go over it a third time and you totally messed it up. So you got to start over. You go over it again and it looks okay, and then you go over it a second time and you can't live with it, but then you go a third time, which is actually the sixth time, and you say, okay, that's okay, but I should have stopped at the first third, if you follow my logic there. I know it's high math. So you can see the areas I did, which like up there, I just got out of here and cleaned up my bucket and my tools and whatnot. So what I'm saying is, what am I trying to say? If you have never done tape and texture, you're definitely going to have a learning curve. And I wanted to use my 10-inch blade, but I kept going back to my 6-inch because it was more, I could control it. And the 10-inch, there's some nuances to it. There's nuances to using all these blades, right? The way you put pressure on it, and yada yada. Of course, I exaggerate the movement, but you kind of get the idea. There's definitely nuances. And I don't have that muscle memory, and I know I don't have that muscle memory. So this is my fourth coat, and I'm getting tired of doing this. I'm getting close to the point where I'm gonna have to say, okay, enough is enough. I'm gonna sand this one, and I'll probably do what I'm gonna say the fifth and final coat. And I'm hoping that at that point I'm gonna say, okay, it looks okay. It's a toilet compartment, right? It's not like I'm going to invite people over and they're going to say, wow, look at that tape and texture. You really did a good job. This is my toilet area, my toilet compartment. So the only one, anyway, we won't go there. So, I'm getting close to saying, okay, enough is enough. Because I went to Lowe's the other day. I found a gallon of paint that I used to paint all my, because I've painted just about every wall in this house, with some exceptions, like small closets. I didn't do small closets. But other than that, I painted every large area in this house. So anyway, I found a gallon of paint that I used for above I did wainscot once upon a time, and I'm going to use that as a primer to get rid of it. I went to Lowe's and I said, "Can you shake this?" And the guy said, "Well, it depends." I said, "Okay." And I thought he was gonna, I don't know what he was getting to, but he looked at the lid, and the paint was, there was a stamp on there. I think it was like 7 years old, and it wasn't opened. It was a gallon that I bought too much. That's one of the reasons I want to get rid of it. He says, "Well, I got to check the lid, because a lot of times he'll put it in a shaker, and if the lid is not really, like kind of stable," he said, "the shaker will just, pop the lid off, and they'll have a big mess on their hands." So I said, "All right, you're the professional, let me know." So he took the lid off, and he said, "All right, everything's okay." So he put it in the shaker, and anyway, I have freshly shaken paint. I know, I'm all over the place. Only because, I'm a little bit disappointed in my fourth coat. But I'm going to try to get past it when this dries. I'm going to leave it till tomorrow. Do a light sand with my 220. Because I did a sand before. You're supposed to sand in between every coating, right? Obviously. No, maybe it's not obvious to some. But that's what the professionals do. They do a light sand. They do a sanding. I guess it's a light sanding. I don't know. I guess it depends on the situation. Well, anyway, I'm going to do a light sanding tomorrow with my 220. And then see how it goes, see what it looks like, because I want to get going. I want to crack that primer paint open and paint in there, all right? And then go buy a gallon of the finished paint. I know I'm going over my plan over and over, but I'm trying to motivate myself too. So yeah, we got some things done. I had to order another egg beater, because they're only, I don't know, they're like $5 or something. The other one rusted out, and I'm like, well, I don't want it to be, I don't want it to be all, messed up in there. So I figured I'll just buy, so I bought another one. I know. I did some cleanup on the floor, trying to keep ahead of that, or at least keep up with it. That's about it. So I think I'm pretty much done for the day. I got some errands to run, right? So I'm going to grab some lunch. I think it's like a little bit of a late lunch, but that's okay. So I'll leave you with, what shall I leave you? I'll leave you with this shot right here. It's not pretty, but it's. I'm hoping that after a nice decent sand and a final coat, a really loose, wet, final coat with I'm not going to use my 10-inch blade. I'm going to go back to my 6-inch, because for me, I have better control over it, and I'm not going to make as much mud. I'm going to go back to just making enough mud to get by with what I need, instead of making a big batch. All right, so I'll leave you with that shot right there, and hope everybody's having a good day. Stay tuned. There's going to be more to come.